Sony is having major drama. They have a lawsuit, in fact. How can you take from the rich and give to the poor? Hello humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. Today I'm going to talk about Sony and the legal troubles they're having. First, let's look at this article. Alright, so I'm going to be reading from Digital Spy. This story's been making the rounds. Sony responds to sexism and misconduct allegations by PlayStation employees. Yikes. Alright, so you can go through this article here, guys. Basically last week, 8 women who work or have worked at PlayStation or Sony Online Entertainment have made a multitude of claims regarding demeaning comments, a feeling that women were considered for promotion, hostility from HR, and at least one incident of groping, and that was via Axios. Okay, these claims were made a few months after PlayStation security analyst Emma Maggio filed a lawsuit in November alleging that the entire business has a systemic sexism problem. Well, guys, we're not here to talk about the particulars of the lawsuit. What we're here to talk about is how is this lawsuit going to affect the stock price. Now, guys, if you remember, we had the same situation with Activision. When something like this happens and it finally gets out in the press, the stock usually takes a hit. So what are we going to do? What am I going to do? Again, this is for entertainment purposes only. So you guys can do your own research and get educated on these subjects. But the point of this channel is to get you thinking about stocks, right? About finances, about how you can profit from your video game knowledge. Now, if this situation at all mirrors anything from Activision, we can make money long term. As you know, we own some Sony stock in our portfolio. And let's take a look at our performance so far. All right, guys, so looking at our portfolio here, we've lost 2.44% overall, right? We're a little bit higher on the money. We're at $1,753, and that's because we had a big profit on the VXX, and what we did with that is we actually bought one Microsoft stock, right? So that's where we're sitting at. But specifically looking at Sony right now is sitting at $106, right? And if you remember what we did with Activision, it actually lost like 20%. Now, why is that so meaningful? Let's take a closer look. Alright, so this concept of shorting is pretty simple, guys, and I've explained it before. For those of you new to the channel, I'm going to explain it again, and this is just a layman's term explanation. Okay, so basically what you do is you borrow the stock at the current price and you sell it in the market. Of course, they'll charge you a fee. Sometimes it's 0.5%, 1%, whatever it is, depending on the contract and depending on the amount of time, right? And you sell those stocks right away. So if they're worth 106 with 12 cents, you would actually get $10,612, right? And you have to return those 100 stocks by a certain time. Since you expect it to go down in price, right? You buy those stocks at the bottom. Say you buy them at 90.20 when the stock goes down 15% because of all the bad news, right? The lawsuits and what's going on, this and that and the other. Remember, we did something similar, I did something similar with Activision. So then you return the shares. These shares, because the stock is down, only cost us $9,020. What do you have now? Well, you have the difference, and that difference is your profit, which is $1,592, right? Now, hedge funds do this by the millions, right? So they borrow like 1 million shares. So that's what they do. When you hear of hedge funds losing money, is usually when they do something like this and the price turned around on you, right? So you have to be very careful with these. You want to make sure that you have the right information. But this is how you can benefit, right, from knowing the information. The other thing we could do is we could just wait for the price to fall and buy the stock at the bottom, buy additional stock at the bottom, because we know that's an artificially low price because of news manufactured sometimes by the media, or sometimes it's the facts, right? But, remember, these companies have insurance for these specific purposes. So a lot of times these payouts are actually paid out by the insurance companies and not by the values of the company. So then they tend to go back up. Now, this is a very simplistic explanation, guys, and this is just to get people familiar with the concept. You go do your own due diligence, right? The purposes of these videos is to try to introduce you to these concepts. So you can go out, out there and try your hand at something like this if that's what you wish to do, or you have a better concept of what your financial planner is doing. Now, I know what you're thinking. If it's that easy, how come not everybody does it, right? And how come not everybody is successful at it? Everybody would be millionaires. Well, it's pretty simple, guys. A lot of the major powers that be, say hedge funds, major investment firms, they have a lot of influence in the media with reporters, specifically when it comes to business, and even other outlets. So they will fund and produce stories, right, that fit the narrative on how they're hedging their position on any given stock. So for example, let's say they want Sony to fail because they shorted 1 million shares of Sony. They will promote these stories in the media, whether they own the outlets themselves, right, or whether they fund the features through, Facebook or other outlets. This is why it's so important that you guys have the information straight from the horse's mouth, right? A lot of the people that are in the video game industry that are, for example, novices, they have less bias, right? And they will tell you exactly what's going on. Specifically in YouTube, they hunt for the bad news, right? If it's bad, they'll tell you, and if there's a nothing burger, you can usually tell by yourself. But in this case, it looks like it's going to rattle some cages, and it should affect the price of the stock negatively. At least that's the way I see it, and that's the way I'm going to play it personally. Now again, this is not financial advice. This is just for entertainment only, and it's also for information. So you guys know what's going on in the market. So if the predictions are right, people make money. This is what hedge funds do. Hedge funds have short positions, which this one would be, right? Because you're shorting the stock. And they have long positions, meaning that they have stocks that they own for a longer period of time, right? That they hold on to because they think they're going to go up in value. So that's the example for today. New videos every Monday and Sunday. Thank you for joining me on another episode of the Gen X Gamer. Remember to like and subscribe, click that notification bell, and remember, never ever be afraid to be happy. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.